Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the XP podcast. My name is Rob, and we're here on this bi-weekly casual video game podcast. I am joined with my co-host, Austin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Can't complain. How are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. And we're also joined by Adam Vote. How you doing, dude?
I am also good. I also can't complain. There have been no hardware announcements that have left me
Mm.
disappointed
Oh, wow.
or anything
That's
like
great.
that.
Just
So,
right off the bat.
That's great, dude. That's great. I'm glad. That's kind
Just
of
getting
funny
into
because
it.
that kind of fits into the subject that we're going to be going into today.
oh, does it?
Yeah, it kind of does just a little bit. Um,
Wow.
Before we get into
Wow.
the entire show, I'm going to just do a quick summary of the intro. The XP Podcast is your bi-weekly casual video game podcast where we talk about all things video games and bring topics to the table to discuss for your amusement. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics, or corrections, let us know in the comments section, or you can email us at xppodcast@ambitiouscasual.com, or you can tweet at us at ambitiouscasual on Twitter. Utilize the timestamps below, and then come on, if you're skipping around, you're skipping on some good stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But as a matter of fact, the fact that I'm saying that right now might change things up a bit because we might
Mm.
not need time codes anymore. I'm practically saying this right now. For one thing, for the viewers watching and listeners watching, I don't know if there's going to be anything different in regards to the quality of our video. We shifted from using this other software and because it just was not working. I'll call them out, dude. Riverside just sucked. And now we're on
Come on,
Zencaster
Rivers.
and we're trying this out for the first time. So far, I mean, it looks like a cool, clean UI. So hopefully it works pretty well. On top of that, I'm thinking about not thinking about this is gonna happen. I'm going to be breaking up XP podcasts based on their topics. So we're just gonna be jumping right into the shows on the topics. So there's gonna be probably if everyone brings a topic to the table, one person didn't. Shame, shame. Adam. And
Oh.
if we had three topics for just example, if we had three topics, there'd be three videos that week. If not, this week there's two videos. And because we're missing out on one video, you can thank Adam for that. So in the comments, guys,
Listen,
do a big
in
boo-hoo for
Adam's
Adam.
defense, Rob, our topics are pretty large. All right. It's hard to
They are. They are.
they're massive.
I'm not gonna lie. I deep down inside, I was like, man, I really hope Adam doesn't have something because we have
Yeah.
a lot to talk about with these
We'll
first
be
two
here till
already.
midnight.
Yeah, don't go trying to guilt trip me when really you're thankful that I
Oh,
conceded my
God.
time to
That's right.
Adam, you
duke it
know
out
what?
with you.
I appreciate your humbleness and ability to actually step back and not put yourself on the spotlight and put me and Austin on the spotlight. So,
Yes, because
without
that's
further
why I
ado,
do this podcast.
oh,
What?
absolutely, yeah, Austin, just for the spotlight, dude. He's trying to
That's
get his break here, and then he's gonna run the moment he
That's
gets that
right.
phone
I'm
call.
gonna leave you guys in the dust once this takes off.
Sweet.
He's gonna get a
All
call
right.
for God knows who knows what. All right, guys, we're gonna jumping in to the first topic of the show. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I love the big fat like time code on the top left of the screen. It's
Oh,
so
love
nice.
that.
All right, jumping into the first topic of the show. We're gonna start with mine. This is just news that literally broke the day before, and this is fresh. There's been a lot of
Mhm.
emotion in the industry regarding this topic and what people feeling this way and that way, and whatever way you want to look at it. So, starting from the top, Nintendo announced through a post that a new Switch model is on its way on October 8th, costing $350. It is the Nintendo Switch parentheses OLED model. Now, before I go into like the specifics and everything about the Switch as a whole, when did you guys first find out about this? Was it when I pinned it, or did you guys already see this before I pinned it?
I think
I Sorry. Go ahead,
I
Adam.
need to call you guys by name. Adam,
That's
start
all
with
right.
Adam.
Yeah,
I
Adam.
think it was when you pinned it because I was at work already and you did it pretty quick. I think you had threw it out in Slack like within 30 minutes of it going up. So
Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw you message Slack, but it was like I was kind of waking up, so I didn't really read it. But then I saw
Mm.
the Apple News push notification from The Verge and it was
Oh,
like
okay.
Nintendo Switch OLED. And I was like, oh, that must have been what Rob was messaging us about. And sure enough, it was. So yeah,
Okay.
that's when I heard about it through Apple News.
Yeah.
Shout out to Apple News.
I'm not gonna lie. Apple News is actually really helpful, not gonna lie. The moment that I saw it, I didn't even watch the video. I just copy link, boom, send it to you guys. It was like it's happening, you know? And I
Wow.
wasn't and the
Yeah.
thing is the moment I saw it, I wasn't excited. Like the moment I saw the tweet, because I was like,
Mm.
no, man, it's a tweet. That means it's really not that big of a and
Mm.
we'll get into the specifics as to why it is a big of a deal, why it couldn't be a big of a deal, whatever. So, starting from the top, the Nintendo Switch OLED model announced yesterday. The day of this recording is on Wednesday, so July 6th it was announced. It it has a 7-inch OLED screen, wide adjustable stand, built-in wire LAN port inside of the new dock that they are packaging in with it, 64 gigabytes of internal storage, enhanced audio, and like I said, is $350. October 8th release. And it, like I said before, new dock. It's a completely redesigned looking dock. It looks the same. The back of it's just a little redesign. And like I said, with the LAN port now a part of it, not as an extension to the dock itself. Um, Adam, what are your thoughts on the announcement of the OLED model?
Personally, I feel pretty good about it. I like the improvement over the original Switch model. I'm a part of a few different Nintendo like groups on Facebook,
Uh-huh.
and literally all I've seen for 2 days now is people going back and forth, either complaining that it's not 4K 60 frames per second,
Yeah,
trying to compete with PS5 and Xbox Series X, and then the other half are people complaining about the people originally complaining. So, for myself, I like it. I think this is good. I think this is probably what we should have expected all along. Obviously, there was that big story. I don't remember how many months ago where someone kind of leaked that, Nintendo were buying all these screens,
it was a
probably
Bloomberg.
I think at a Bloomberg
Yeah.
article that kind of broke that news and let us know, hey, Nintendo's buying a bunch of these OLED screens. I don't remember who from, but
Samsung.
theoretically at a really good price. Samsung,
Mm.
awesome, thank you. And so, yeah, like it's possible that they didn't even have intentions of doing an iteration before then. Who knows? But
Yeah.
the fact is that Nintendo has always iterated on their handheld consoles specifically. And usually
Mhm.
those iterations have never been super performance based. They've mostly been quality of life based.
Correct.
I mean, although I guess, technically Game Boy went to Game Boy Color and added in color, but I don't know if I'd consider that performance.
Mhm.
Game
Mm.
Boy Advance went to Game Boy Advance SP, so that added like the backlight and like the charger versus batteries. And then even with
Mm.
the DS, went to the DSi, 3DS added the 2DS, and then went to the XL models. And I guess that would be the one exception when they did go to new 3DS and 2DS that did have a bit of a performance boost,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you could actually see that only a few titles took advantage of it, and then it became very confusing because those titles then couldn't be played on like the original 2DS, 3DS stuff. So I think that looking back and kind of hindsight, this is what we should have expected from Nintendo. I
Yeah.
think. I
Mm.
think,
Yeah.
Mm.
people got themselves too hyped up and forget that, Nintendo stepped away from the, you know, having the best performing machine type console wars, a few consoles ago. So,
Yeah.
Mm.
Austin, I know that we've talked on we're on level 13 already. We've already done 13 episodes of this show. Um
Wow.
we have had conversations and with you because you did have the Switch for a while. You don't have it right now. We've had conversations on this show actually of you considering maybe I should get it or not with whatever brand news coming out. The whole
Mhm.
conversation has always been around this Bloomberg article by Takahashi reporting on Nintendo bought who knows how many OLED screens from Samsung, and then we thought with the rumors of it being 4K. And I know that you've expressed it like, man, this actually seems like a pretty cool get. Where are you
Mhm.
now with the announcement of Nintendo Switch OLED model? It's not even Pro or anything like that. It is the Nintendo Switch parentheses OLED model.
Yeah, no. So I definitely went through a phase where I was like, man, I would really like to get a Nintendo Switch. I was looking at the Lite. I was looking at the regular one. I had the money to blow, so I was like, man, I kind of want to get a Switch. I had one years ago and I sold it because I never used it. But with all of the releases and everything, I was like, okay, I think this is a platform worth getting back into, worth making an investment for. And I opted to just save the money and wait for that quote unquote pro model that was rumored. And it was also right around the time that you guys were talking about when they leaked the OLED screens. And I was like, okay, no, 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 no. I got to hold my cards close to my
Yeah.
chest. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. And so then they announced the OLED model. So here's my opinion on the OLED model. I if they had been hyping this thing up, if they had been, if they had a whole direct that was like, today we will be talking about the new hardware and future of Nintendo, stuff like that. Then they announced the OLED model. I think I would have been a little bit disappointed, but they announced it in a just a cute little update like, hey, we're releasing this slightly updated Nintendo Switch. It's got a nicer screen on it, just a couple of tweaks here and there. For me, it was just a pleasant surprise. I was happy to hear it. I was happy to see it. Of course, there are features on it that I wish that would have been on this one, but like we're saying, I don't think necessarily this is Nintendo's next big console. This isn't their flagship device. This is just sort of a slight upgrade to what they're currently rocking right now, and I'm not ecstatic about it, but it's exciting to see. And as someone who doesn't own a Switch right now, it definitely piques my interest. And I think that could be said for a lot of people
Hmm.
out there who don't already own Nintendo Switches. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't own a Nintendo Switch, or if you were kind of waiting for a quality update, here it is. And I think it's worth the money. I don't necessarily see a need to export or to have 4K on my TV with Nintendo games. So like I'm okay with the normal resolution, but the OLED screen I think will be an upgrade for sure. Um, but as far as me actually pulling the trigger and buying a Nintendo Switch after this update, I have to say I'm not I'm not sold. All right, I'm not gonna spend the $350 on a Switch.
Oh.
I
Hmm.
and I have my handheld device right now that's suiting me really well. And I can play all the games I want almost on my mobile device through cloud gaming, through the App Store, and through all that stuff with a backbone controller. And frankly, the resolution on my iPhone is the best handheld resolution anyone is ever going to get. I mean, the picture quality is incredible. So I and the thing is I'm realizing that a lot of the games on Nintendo, a lot of sort of the pull for indie titles, a lot of those titles are being released on other platforms. So, um, what I pretty much told myself is, when Breath of the Wild 2 is released, I will highly, highly consider upgrading and buying a new Nintendo device. But until that day comes, I'm just gonna be chilling. So, but like I said, it they didn't hype it. They didn't say this is their next big thing. It was just sort of like a cute little, hey, we're releasing this now, and there it is. This isn't our next big thing, but here's this for now. So yeah, I'm cool with it, but I'm not gonna buy it. I like the white color though.
Mhm.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
It looks good.
So all right, so my thoughts on this entire thing. One, both you guys are just some backstabbing Nintendo apologists over here, all right? I'm
What?
telling you right now. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say that this is unacceptable. Okay, I'm not going to say that. All right, but this is unacceptable in so many forms. I'm kidding. Look, the thing is, when the day came, uh, obviously I was excited for whatever the rumors were regarding 4K and things like that. If there's been anybody banging the drum on don't get too excited, it's been Adam,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to Nintendo stuff. And so
Hmm.
I will say when the original rumors did come out regarding it being 4K, some sort of better chip inside of it, there was even some rumors of there being DLSS. I was like, man, that's a bit of a pull for Nintendo, but I mean, hey, I'm not against it, you know? And
Yeah.
honestly, at the end of the day, I have a Nintendo Switch myself. I bought it day one, so I have the original one. I don't even have the red box. And if those who don't even know, the red box is the one that actually came with what better battery, better
Yeah.
battery life, right? Was there anything else
Battery,
different
yeah.
about it, Adam?
Oh,
Um, I don't think so. I think it was
Okay,
just better battery. Yeah.
okay, better battery life, and that was it. So I had the OG, and I play docked. I'm not I did play at the very beginning with the handheld a lot of the time. Oh, it's fun. It's a new handheld console. It was the hybrid. It was the Nintendo hybrid because they're letting go of handheld. They want to progress with consoles. How do you do the both of them together? This was their answer. And so, what's interesting about it is this, and there's a couple things. The 7-inch OLED screen, that's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. OLED makes a big difference, especially when it comes to playing consoles in regards to the way that your game looks. It really makes a huge difference. To me, I don't know. I don't know. So we'll just start with that. 7-inch OLED screen, that's cool. Wide adjustable stand, that's awesome. I don't know why that
mm.
wasn't even like a thing at the beginning because I'm not gonna lie. The first day my stand on my Switch broke like right away,
Yeah.
and I know it did
Hmm.
for a
That's a
lot of people.
really bad stand.
It is horrible stand. And the way that they're talking up this one, it looks like you can actually like move with certain precision. Like it's so much
Hmm.
better. So that's
Yeah.
actually really
Multi-angle.
exciting. Um,
Yeah.
the built-in wire LAN port, I'm not gonna lie. If that was something that you wanted, you already have it. Like if that was important to you, you bought the extension for your Switch. So
Mm.
what is this? My whole reasoning why I'm saying that is because I feel like the Nintendo Switch OLED model is for the handheld players. Just
Mm.
plain and simple.
Yeah.
This is, if you already have a Nintendo Switch, you do not need this. And as a matter of fact, I
Mhm.
sent this, and I know this has been going around. I think the story was by Video Games Chronicle where they talked about it. But even someone who worked at Nintendo said, "Hey, if the OLED screen isn't the thing that's going to sway you, just stick with the one that you got." And that's the thing is, this is just a small iterative bump on just one aspect of the entire console. Now, look, if I can get one, I'm gonna get one. All right.
Mhm.
We're just gonna play. It's plain and simple. There's nothing different about this console than mine other than the screen. Uh I love my wife. She plays on the Nintendo Switch way more than I do actually. And she
Mhm.
plays it handheld. So I will in my mind come up with some sort of reason to be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get the OLED screen because she plays handheld. It looks nicer that way. But my biggest thing is there's a couple things. 4K gaming, okay, guys, everyone was weighing over their heads, even thinking this might even happen so soon. Just because of the nature of Nintendo, it's the it's barely hitting 1080p when it even reaches your screen, if I'm not mistaken. So let
Mm.
alone have to like 30 frames per second or anything like that. I don't know. Nintendo's just not savvy like that.
Yeah.
My bigger thing is this: no Bluetooth audio. That's kind of weird for me.
Mm.
I,
Yeah, it's
I
weird for me
I
too.
know for some people that's not really that big of a deal, but for me,
Mm.
we're already in a place right now where a lot of our technology that's not on a desk is already Bluetooth compatible. So
Mhm.
I don't know exactly why they couldn't fit that in there. I don't know. I'm not the designers over there. No better battery life. I don't know if the adding the OLED must have added to some more battery being used. So could it be possible that the battery is bigger, but just to adjust for the OLED screen, allowing for the battery life to kind of stay the same? Or I wonder if OLED doesn't use as much battery.
I think I've heard that it's pretty battery efficient.
Okay.
Mm.
Um,
That's
yeah,
good.
honestly, I don't even think they needed to improve on the battery life more than the version 2, the red box
Nah,
did, you know? That was
Yeah,
already like a
nah.
huge step up.
yeah. There's no internal upgrades, so everything inside of it is running the same way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lastly, my main thing is what is the what is the strategy for this? There's a couple
Why?
things that there's a couple things I wrote down, and I think the price point is the one thing that really throws me off.
Hmm.
Um, I know for I feel deep down in my heart of hearts, and Adam, let me know if you think the same way. OLED model is being pushed right now. It's going to phase out the original model. Would you agree? So it'd only be OLED
I
model and Nintendo Switch Lite.
maybe.
Because I can't see a reason for them to have three SKUs.
I mean, yeah, it could be kind of the thing where technically they have it, but like the supply on it dries up pretty well. I mean, like
Mm,
PS5 digital edition is like a joke. Like some people have it, but it does not exist nearly in the same quantity as the disc version does. So they could
Right.
do something
mm.
like that where it just becomes too hard to find that you either go up to the OLED or down to the light.
Right. Austin, what do you think? Do you think they're going to keep with phase out the OG Switch and just have only OLED and Switch Lite?
You know, I guess looking at it from a business standpoint, I think a lot of there's tiers in everything. There's a tier on subscription, there's a tier on hardware, and you could get this one or you could get this one.
There's a tear on my
And
face from this news.
is a tear on your face from no Bluetooth audio on.
Exactly.
um, I don't know. I feel that there's still an audience for that. I guess now the mid tier Nintendo Switch. I think it could still stick around. I think what Adam was saying was right. It really just depends on what's available. Like if these things are off the shelves forever and they're not pumping them out, no one's really going to get them except for the hardcore, oh, I want this. I want the OLED model. When I go to Target, when I go to Walmart, Best Buy, there is, and maybe my experience is different from other people's, but there's maybe a Switch Lite, and it's like a color, like the yellow one.
Yeah.
That no one will. If you own a yellow
The banana
Lite,
yellow.
please let me know. Um, but like, there's already no consoles anywhere. It's just people are still buying all these things up. So I don't know. It's hard for me to tell right now. I think it just really depends. Do you want to spend the extra $50 on a built-in Ethernet port with an OLED screen and a cool white exclusive color? Sure, that's your call. But I don't know. I don't even know if I have an answer for that. I think it'll all still be relative. I think every model will still have its place. So I think it'll
And
be
I know
fine.
that they did confirm that the new dock will be sold separately. So you can buy that new dock separately.
Oh, that's true.
Which
That's right.
which
Yeah.
they do now already for the existing dock. So it kind of makes sense that they would do that. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know. To me, this one the price tag is funky. I don't understand
Yeah.
it. This is the most expensive Nintendo console ever made at this moment.
Mm.
When you look back, the original Nintendo Switch was $300, Wii U $300, Wii 250, GameCube 200, N64 200, SNES 200, and NES 180. So the OLED model, which has nothing different from the original model other than the OLED screen, is $350, the most expensive console to date for Nintendo. On top of that, when you do some sort of comparison, and to some people you'd be like, okay, well you're comparing apples to oranges, but the Series S is $299.
Mm.
The Series S, Dolby Atmos, 4K. Um, I think it can go up to 60 frames per second. Because I know the Series S has the ability to go up to 120. Like the
Mm.
capabilities within that console, and I know it doesn't have a screen. I get that. I know that. But it just
It's not a handheld
and
console.
it's not a handheld console, and I get that. But
Yeah.
it makes you wonder though. Okay, well, if this is the route that they're going, Nintendo Switch OLED model. I know that Jeff Grubb, who's from GamesBeat, who leaks a lot of stuff, mentioned that he is still hearing that as of right now, the 4K version of this console is still set for 2022. Now, again,
Mm.
don't get your hopes up or anything like that. What I do wonder is this. I want and this is just how business works. With a lot of businesses, let's say you make $2 million one year, and the next year, and that's profit. Let's say the next year you make $2 million again, and that's profit still. That's not profit to the company. You want to make $3
Hmm.
million, and then the year after that, you want to make $4 million. And again, I don't know if this is how a Japanese company like Nintendo works, but to my understanding, I wonder if they were given this. I wonder if this was in the pipeline. They inquired about the chipset, and they're like, okay, pandemic obviously shifted so much, we cannot get these chips that you want. And Nintendo being like, okay, well, we need to release something because we need to obviously have numbers that we need to show and everything like that. Let's just release this OLED model without the 4K capabilities and everything like that. Just have it be an upgrade, almost like your phones. Let it just be an upgrade. And then we'll just call it a day and see if we can sell some because at the end of the day, they're going to sell like crazy. And if anything, they're
Mm.
positioning themselves in a much better way than Xbox and PlayStation. They're not competing, but when it comes to sales, they're positioning them so much better because PlayStation and Xbox are so dependent on these chips. Nintendo,
Mm.
not so much because these are old chips. They just have to worry about screens. And if I'm not mistaken, the
Mm.
report said that they ordered 5 million screens. So
Mm.
to
Whoa.
me, the way that you look at this is that, okay, in 2017 of March, we got the OG Switch. In September of 2019, we got the Switch Lite. Now we're looking at October 2021, and we have the OLED model of the Nintendo Switch. So if this keeps up going the way that it is, more than likely by 2023, there's a good chance we see the next iteration of whatever this can be. If Nintendo wants to go the route of just iterating on it. And Adam said this before. And I appreciate the fact that you said this because I literally have this entire image. For those who are listening, I'm sorry, you're not going to see this. I have an image here of literally all the different Nintendo consoles of handheld consoles that they have. And
Mm.
it's unbelievable. The Game Boy has the
Yeah.
Game Boy, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, Game Boy Micro, and Game Boy Player. And then you go into the
Mm.
DS, Nintendo DS, Nintendo DS Lite, Nintendo DSi, Nintendo DSi XL, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo 3DS XL, Nintendo 2DS, new Nintendo 3DS, and new Nintendo 3DS XL. So, and they were making gangbusters with handheld consoles. If I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, I think handheld was their bread and butter more so than even the consoles itself.
Yeah.
So with them phasing out handhelds and now they're combined, I can see that this is going to be their new tactic. They're just going to be
Mm.
iterating on consoles almost like a phone, almost like the iPhone. We get a new iPhone every single year, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be the biggest leap, but it's the fact that they're iterating on the smallest bits over time
Mm.
to just get that constant flow of cash coming in from customers and stuff like that. So,
Mm.
Adam,
Yeah.
do you have anything else you want to say in regards to the Switch OLED model? Any words that you want to add or
I would just say, like, I think all bets are off on trying to, like, predict what Nintendo does next. I would just say to anyone out there listening who's considering buying a Nintendo Switch, if there are games that you would want to play on the Switch and you're really excited about them, buy a Switch now. Okay,
yeah,
you could pre-order the OLED if you have the money and you think a bigger screen is going to mean a lot to you. You can get the Lite if you're like, I know I will never play any like party games with anyone or don't care about having it on the screen, or just buy the normal version.
yeah,
If someday Nintendo announces a 4K version, cool. Like, figure out a way to trade in or gift to a relative and then buy the new one.
yeah, yeah,
I just see way
Yeah.
too many people like get hung up on, waiting, trying to wait it out and missing out on playing games that
Yeah.
they would really enjoy and have a lot of fun. I feel like I'm having to pick games to not play off of the PS4 library now that I
Mhm.
have a PS5, and I'm trying to catch up on all the great games I miss, as well as play the new games that come out and still hang up with what's new on the Switch. And so it's like,
yeah,
if there are games you're excited about on Switch and you want to play them, buy one now.
yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
worry too much about it.
yeah.
So no one knows what Nintendo is going to do next, as much as people would like to pretend that they do.
Austin, any
Yeah.
final words?
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo has always been about the the experience, the game, the stories, bringing people together. They've never been about hardware. I mean, the hardware is impressive. I mean, the hybrid console is groundbreaking. No one else is doing it. But apart from that, Nintendo is about the games, the experience, the exclusives, Mario, Zelda, Sam, all that. So if those are the games you want to dive into, yeah, I agree. Just buy one now and just do it. Dive into it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the next great 8K console because that's not what Nintendo's about.
Yeah. And I will say
Yeah.
finally, in regards to all that, is I agree with everything that you guys said. Nintendo isn't about fidelity, resolution, 60, 120 frames per second, 144 hertz. They're not about that. It's about the games. There's a reason why grandmas bought the Wii, and they want to recapture that lightning in a bottle and do it again. And the unfortunate thing is, people like us, people who watch YouTube videos or listen to gaming podcasts that go deep into how things are working, we are not the majority. And that's the sad thing.
No.
For how much I love Metroid, and I wish we got a Metroid as much as we got a Legend of Zelda, the majority of people who play Nintendo games don't think so. That's the reason why we don't get Metroid all that much, because it doesn't sell all that much. And
Mhm.
so we just have to keep our minds and be open, because I can sit here and be critical and be like, why are you doing this? But man, Nintendo's walking to the bank laughing because money's falling out of their pockets, because they know what they're doing. They've been beating on sales regarding consoles above everybody for so long. So they don't care.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say they don't care. They
Facts.
do care, but they just have a different strategy compared to PlayStation and Xbox. So
They're yeah. They're
go for
not
it.
catering to the hardcore, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
They're
Nah.
not catering to us.
Everybody. And I think to some instances they are catering, but it's whenever it works perfectly for them. Like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, the fans loved it. Like hardcore fans loved it. But that's because
Mhm.
one, even the majority of people love Legend of Zelda, which allowed them to push that story and that medium even further for that IP. Not that many people love
Mm.
Metroid. Not that many people love F Zero. Not that you can go on and on. And so we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown regarding that. And I can't blame them. You can't blame them. It's it's
Mhm.
it's business at the end of the day. So, and people love to say it, Nintendo is a toy company. So it's
Hmm.
about the fun, and it's about the cardboard lab